Hey, what's up, people? This your boy, Humble Dad. Welcome back to another edition of Humble Dad Podcast. Got an incredible guest with me today. This is a gentleman that I just recently met, but have been following for a considerable amount of time. Me and my wife watch this show regularly, and it was one of the things that bonded us together to have dialogues to make our relationship better. And he's going to talk to us about himself as a dad, and it's interesting for me because I haven't heard his perspective just yet, and I'm ready to hear what he has to say. And I want to introduce none other than himself, Mr. JR. What's going on, sir?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing well. Super excited. I'm gonna try to, I'm almost like a fanboy to a degree, because I've been watching you for some time, and so I just really appreciate the opportunity to
I
talk
appreciate
to you.
I appreciate this opportunity. Thanks for having me.
For sure. So we're gonna get it started, man. Kind of tell me what you think the difference between a father and a dad is.
Hmm. That's the first time I've been asked that question, but if I had to say, I would probably say that the dad is just present. He's the father. Well, he's the dad. He's just
Okay.
like that figure. He's the one that's on the birth certificate. Like he's the dad. But when it comes to a father, in my opinion, like a father is more like vested into the child. He's like the protector. He's the one that's guiding. He's the one that's building up his daughter or his son to be the best version of themselves.
That's what's up. So kind of tell me about your perspective, so not perspective, but your kids. What do you have? Boy, girl, how many?
So I have three kids. I
Okay.
have two boys and a girl.
Oh, okay. That's what's up. And can you tell me like the age ranges?
Yeah, I have a 4 year old, a 12 year old, and a 16 year old.
Oh man, you got them spaced out. That's what's
Yeah,
up.
yeah,
Okay.
definitely spaced out.
Yeah, we'll talk about that too because I think that's an interesting dynamic to be at 16 and then be at 4.
Yeah.
Right. So I want to kind of go back to like when you were a younger kid, kind of talk to me about your father figure or role models as dads back then.
So for those that don't know, I'm half Nigerian. So my father is Nigerian, and my mother, she's American. Um,
Okay.
I want to say my father figure in my life was my grandfather. So my father was in my life in my younger years, and my mother and I weren't able to see eye to eye. So, he would just be in and out as I became an adult. So my father figure was my grandfather. He's the one that raised me to be the man that I am today. He's the one that has instilled all of these values in me that you see today.
This was so. What would you say was the like? Let's take me back to around elementary, middle school age. What were some things that you can remember from your grandfather that kind of molded you at that particular time?
Grammar school, I say that my grandfather was all he did was work, sleep, and eat. He was the yeah,
Okay.
he was the one that was responsible for everything when things were wrong in the house, um, and everything outside of the house. He was the one. He was the one that would take me in the crawl space and have me analyzing the sub pump, trying to figure out what the problem is, and saying, these are the things that you need to be able to figure out. We have a serious issue, but we're not going to let your grandmother know. We're not going to let the women in the house know that there's an issue. But when things go wrong, I don't want you just calling somebody. I just want you to be able to try to see if you can figure it out. Like no matter how bad it may be, when we come up out of here, uh, there's going to be a solution. It's not a big deal. We're going to fix it. Don't worry about it. So that's my grandfather. That's what I can remember. Those are one of the things that stood out. Um, yeah.
So when you're in grammar school, so that's like I mean, that's like 6 to 14 years old. So
hmm
you're learning work ethic at that particular time. And so as you're learning that, how did that foster you when you get into high school?
Well, I, fast forward to high school, it was kind of like I almost knew how to hold down a household. Like I already was ahead of my time, but I felt like if I had a home, if I had a house and a family, that I would automatically know what to do.
Hmm.
And even fast forward today, like I don't feel like that I panic when situations happen. When things happen, it's either like one or two things can happen. Either you can figure it out, or this is going to be a lingering problem. He also taught me how to um, prevent things from happening. So,
Okay.
cleaning the furnace and changing like the batteries in the smoke detector, making sure that the leaves in the back of the house, the back door, we had a drain hole. And so what would often happen is the leaves would clog it. And if it flooded, it would come into the basement. And we have had some experience like that. So that was one of the things he would have me look at. So even when he wasn't looking, from that point on, I knew to look for it. So any home or house that I'm in, I already know. I kind of do like a task at hand. I kind of look around to see what things could possibly happen, and seeing if I could prevent that to happen before it becomes a tragedy or an inconvenience.
That's pretty cool. So, yeah, were you about to say something?
No, I was just coughing.
Oh, my bad. Okay, so with that, that's pretty good. So you will he taught you how to be kind of proactive, if you will. So can you take me to a situation where that has come into play, where you were able to be proactive as a result of what your grandfather taught you?
Yeah. Um, so one of the pipes busted. One of the pipes busted in the closet area, and it's like, wow, like what's going
In
on?
the
Water,
closet?
yeah,
That's
in the
crazy.
closet, because what happened was there's a line from outside that the pipe goes in behind the wall and it drops down and it goes up under the house. So once that pipe busted, I knew to immediately turn off the water supply in the house, so that it can stop flowing. So that's one of the things that if he hadn't taught me if he haven't taught me just like the basics, like the fundamentals around the house, water supply, how to turn the power off. If the power ever tripped, this is what you do. All of
Hmm.
these have to be on an arm position this way. So like them small things. So I didn't panic, because if I didn't know what to do, then who knows how much water would just be flooding the house, because it was just spraying everywhere.
For sure. And so you didn't panic at all?
No, 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 no. I didn't panic. Once I shut the water supply off, I knew who to call. I called my guy, and he came over, and he was able to forget what you do with the pipes, but he was able to kind of like seal it off
Oh,
for the
okay.
time being, and then eventually I got it repaired, but it wasn't immediately because I never used it. It was just so cold outside, and
Yeah.
and a pipe burst. So I mean, it put a hole in the wall, but all of that got fixed up. The main thing was making sure that we minimize more damage. It was like minor damage right then and there. We know the water's flooding, but thankfully I was able to quickly react and to prevent anything from happening that was going to be costly.
That's what's up. I think that's definitely a very good skill set to have as far as being proactive. I'm trying to think about, do I ever teach my kids preventative measures? And I think I do, but I can't like put my mind on the one that I did. So like, oh, matter of fact, I guess so. Just recently, what I did was show my 10-year-old. I have four kids,
Mm,
and they're 12, 10, 7, and 3. For those that may be new to to watching, and I was showing him how to change the filter
mm,
in the air conditioning, and matter of fact, before that, I was at Lowe's and I couldn't remember the size that I needed. And I called him and I was like, I need you to go check and see what the size was. And he had never looked at it before, but based on me giving him direction, he was able to find it. Right. And so when I got home, I showed him how to change it. And he was like, oh, yeah, that's simple. Right.
mm.
And so
Yeah,
now he'll know how to change it, which is something that's needed, but it's a very simple thing that
right.
people
Yeah.
don't even pay attention to. Right.
Mhm.
So when you get to take me to the moment that you remember having your first kid. Do you remember that day?
Yeah. Like my situation was a little bit unique because my son wasn't. I wasn't there to see my first son.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
like my son was born. He was born on a military base. He was born in Fort Hood. So,
Oh wow.
yeah, and I wasn't able to see him until like months later.
Okay. So what was your thoughts about like having a kid?
The situation was a little bit it was a little bit crazy at the time
Okay.
because it wasn't planned. It wasn't something that was ordinary. I had to first make sure everything was it was good, make sure it was mine. So I think that was the first
Oh,
thing that
okay.
was the first thing that was on my
Okay.
mind at the time. And so like once I found that out, then it was uphill from there. But go ahead. I'm sorry, I don't want to move too fast.
No, no, no. You're good. You had broke up, so I had missed you.
Mm,
So that's what happened. So as you okay, so that's good. Okay, because I don't know if a lot of dudes do that. Like you don't have to answer, but just curious to what went through your mind having to in that waiting process of seeing if it was yours or not. Because some guys don't necessarily go and say, okay, ask that question.
mm,
You know, like did you like that to me? Because I had a situation happen like that before a long time ago, and for me, I was like nervous because I'm like, I don't. This wasn't part of my plan, right?
yeah, exactly.
What was it like for you?
Well, I wasn't able to find out until I had my child in my hands. So there was more of those
Okay,
things that I just got done on my own. So and I waited till I got them in order to be able to figure that out. So it wasn't. I guess the waiting process would be because it was kind of like a mail test, mail to a place to be able to determine and the results mailed back. So, um, like I felt it. I felt that he was mine, so I was prepared either way. But I just wanted to make sure. You just never know because it was just one encounter, one time, and
I got you.
just for I didn't want to invest too much time into a being that wasn't mine. So it was just more for my mindset, if that makes sense.
Or peace of mind, if you will, like a peace of mind
Yeah,
type
peace,
thing.
peace of mind. I mean, I wanted to know. I just wanted to know so that I can I can have a peace of mind. There you go.
That's what's up. So okay, so let's talk about the parenting. So how old were you when you had your? Can you tell me like you remember? Well, not that you remember, like
Like
how old you were.
early 20s.
So your early 20s, right? So man, so early 20s mindset is totally different, right? So kind of walk me through your parenting style in your 20s compared to like now.
Um, when you asked me that question, one of the things that I can remember, it was definitely a wake up call. It was different. Um, it was something that I hadn't imagined. I was able to experience for a while how it was to be a single parent.
Oh, okay.
Because guess I'm jumping ahead, but I wound up getting full custody of my son.
Oh, wow.
Um,
Okay.
so I wound up getting him, and so I did had a period where I was a single parent, and I had to give up a lot. I had to sacrifice a lot. A lot of the things that everybody else was doing, I wasn't able to do unless I was going to work or um, doing something that was productive. It was more so like I don't feel like it. So I would actually get that. I couldn't if I went out when he was asleep. I knew when I got
Mm-hmm.
back home that I had to wake up early, or the possibility when I get home that I'm going to be woken up in the middle of the night. So it was like definitely like a challenge. And when I had my other kids, I almost felt as though I was already prepared because I had already
Okay.
had so much experience on how to be a father and what to expect. So it was a blessing in disguise because I think moving forward, I had the skill set to be able to survive, to be able to not have a woman around in order to provide and be able to take care of a child. So I knew what to do because I was by myself a lot of times and having to figure things out.
So what made you? You don't have to answer these, but like as a single father, that's one of the things I'm going through right now. Uh, Trying to process like everything to do and when to do it, right? Like, so how do you feel like how your grandfather or your grandfather kind of molded you? Do you think that had anything to do with your preparation and being able to have that first experience with your kid?
No, I wouldn't say that because a little bit of it. Um, a lot of what I remember from my grandfather might have been when I was older, and because
Okay.
that's when I was around him the most. Like I remember him having a Bigfoot down in the basement, and he would get two stools, and I had to park the Bigfoot, had to parallel park the Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Um, Fast forward, and when I was like a teenager, I was driving a car to school with no license, and make sure you come right back because he used to take me, and I was probably driving at 14. He let me drive to the store. So just those little bit of things like that, like parking in there, I was already prepared. When I took my driver test, that was one of the most easiest thing to do was the parallel parking. I can do it within seconds because
Yeah,
he
that
he
was a
trained
struggle.
me. He trained me how to do this, but um I had to learn on the fly, man. I was irritated a lot because when the baby was crying, I didn't know what to
Mm,
do. It was always hungry. Then you got the time you're running temperatures, and you got the time. It just was a lot that was going on that I had not expected, and so I had so much more respect when I do see single uh, parents as a woman. I don't know how you do it, and then you got three kids and you doing this. Like this has to be
yeah,
so much of responsibility. But the fact that he was active in my life, I knew that I wanted to be active in his life. And any child that I had any dealings with, as far as like I helped produce, then I wanted to make sure
yeah.
that I was going to be there, that I wasn't going to never be a deadbeat dad.
Man, that was a big deal to me too. Because mine wasn't in the picture. My person I looked up to was my uncle, who was like the youngest of eight. And so whenever there was a situation that went down, I would call him and ask him. Like he was the one that taught me how to cut my hair. He taught me how to tie my tie. He told
Mm-hmm.
me, listen, all of this, people may have advice for you, but you
Mm-hmm.
need to go with what you want. You know what's going to be best for you in your mind. You know what I'm saying? And so that's the things that he taught me. He was also like basketball coach, track coach, like at 5'7", bro. Like I was dunking in my freshman year in college
Oh,
because of
wow.
how he prepared us and he worked us out and things of that nature, right? And so that's who I leaned on a lot. Matter of fact, my mom, this was like I had to be 16. I don't know what I did, bro, but it had to be something she ain't like much of. But she drove me 40 minutes to go get a whooping from my uncle because because she said she couldn't do nothing with me. But my uncle, everybody in my family feared my uncle, man, because he
Mm-hmm.
gonna bring the heat on a regular basis. So, so that kind of helped me in how I manage my kids to be disciplined, but at the same time, he's a fun dude. At the same time, how would you describe your relationship with your kids?
Um, it's great, man. I have a great relationship. It's definitely, you could definitely see the different challenges that present themselves. They're all different. And what I had to realize is that most of them is a lot like me. So
Okay.
typically we always trying to come down on the kids like, what's wrong with you? And then somebody to tell you, you do the same thing. You do the same thing right now. So
Yes.
it's like,
Thanks.
man, you be right. It's like you raising your like your shadow right now. It's like you actually raising you. And so I just had to
Wow.
but I have a great relationship, man. I talk to them. I think that it's very important to what I'm trying to do is because I grew up in the whole whooping stage, right, where parents will
Me
whoop
too.
their kids in discipline. Um, I used to get uh, paddles in school when I
You
was
too.
younger. So yeah, because I was in a Catholic grammar school. I think
Okay.
that's what kind of balanced me out a little bit. So that's what provided like a lot of structure in my life into who I am. I still got the hood tendencies that I'm trying to rid. Can't rid them all, but
Listen, some of
um,
those need.
yeah, yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Especially like surviving and just being in situations and knowing how to move. It's a lot of people they fear Chicago based off the media, but I'm not. I've been in the environment. I've seen so many things, and um, I don't fear. I don't move in fear. I don't fear anyone. I look at everybody as just human. So
Absolutely.
I just appreciate that survival skill, because even when you are walking around with friends, family, your kids, and stuff like that, you just got to know how to navigate in this world, because the world can be a tripped out place. You can see some tripped out things, and if you're not street smart and knowing how to, like duck and move throughout, then you'll be in a situation that'll catch you off guard. So, um, to answer your question, yeah, the relationship is great with my kids. And I was building up to say that I'm learning how, as they get older, learning how to talk with them. And there are going to be some things that we can't control anymore, like social media is out there, and our kids are getting exposed to a lot more
Yeah.
things at an earlier age and quicker. And so it's not going nowhere. Now it becomes, let me make you aware of what's going on that's out there. And I'm more concerned about the choice that you make when you put into these situations, because I'm not going to be there. So I need you to have as much information and understanding as to how to make the right choice.
So do you kind of you trying to make them help them be more proactive as far as to have an idea of like what's the scenario. One of the things I try to do with my kids is teach them logic, right? Because logic seems to work in most situations, if not all situations. And like I tell my kids, to say, like, let's say that they made a wrong decision. I would say, okay, let's walk that back. Now, if this was a situation that you could do all over again, what would you do? Like that as an example. Or I may talk to them about we watch TV not all the time, but like around dinner we'll watch an episode, and one of the episodes that we typically will watch would be Family Matters, right? And so in Family Matters you have the family dynamic. And so what we would do is, as the scenes are playing, we may pause it and say, okay, what just happened, and what is your process and thinking of the decision making that they just did, and let the kids kind of talk about it, you know, and then and see like, okay, well, when the situation comes up, then how is that going to be treated? And that happened. Matter of fact, there was a kid that was saying had said something to about my son having a gun or something like that to people at the where I was at, and I asked my son. I said, "Dude, what are they talking about?" He said, "Well, I don't know what the kid is talking about because um I literally told him that it was a play gun and I showed it to him. So I don't know why he would do that." And I said, "Listen, if you're not being honest with me, because I don't always believe my kid first. I would like to, but I want to make sure I get the information first, right?" So you're guilty into proving innocent to me to a degree, right? And so it comes back to show that he was accurate in his statement, which was that he said, I shared with the kid exactly what it was, and he had just forgot about it in his backpack. And so, but the overall thing was he understood that he needed to let it be known this was a play gun, and he didn't even take it out the bag. He just was trying to find something. The kid saw it, right? So that's one of those examples of being proactive and having an idea of how to and not overreacting, because he could have overreacted when the kid went to go tell on him, right? But he didn't. So for me, that's what I'm trying to do is teach logic.
Yeah, gotcha.
So when you get to, oh, I had this question. It was how would you describe your parenting style at the different ages, or would you say they're the same?
Um, One of the things that I can say is that I'm overprotective. Um, of,
Okay.
I'm overprotective of my boy, and I can't stand it, because like most fathers would kind of push the sons out there like that, and it's like I'm still hiding. So I had to get to. I don't
Okay.
think it was to the point where I'm just still trying to hide things from them. I'm changing the music, make sure when I listen to certain music in the car with them. So a lot of times when you hop in my car with the kids, I'm always listening to a lot of pop music. It's like pop music that I would
Okay.
listen to, because I just feel like it's just so much in the music, and I didn't want to expose them to it. So all of my kids grew up um, knowing a lot of pop music, including myself. I mean, I know a lot of. I'm into music, period, anyway. So I like all type of music, but um, I still was
What's the
overprotective.
favorite pop song? What's the pop? Before you go there, what's the song in the deck in the pop music?
Man, it's like so many, man. I don't even know the names of it. Like if you was to turn, like in Chicago, we had like 96.3,
Okay,
or like 103.5. So whenever it comes on, like all the pop music during that time, like I could
okay,
actually, I know what it is, and my kids can sing it.
like some Katy
Uh,
Perry or something like that.
yeah, all of that music, man.
Okay,
Like every I'm
for
talking
sure.
about because that's all they play is pop
Okay,
music. So anything that's pop related, I can't name one off my head, and it's crazy because I'm put on the spot. But
that's a bet.
you turn into a pop station, 9 times out of 10, I know what song that is. I heard it before. Man, I know the name of it, but I heard it before. And my kids
Okay.
will be, you can put it on mute and you can hear them in the back seat still singing the song. Well, that's
Yeah,
how it
even
is.
your 16-year-old.
No, my 16-year-old now he's listening to rap and stuff like that. He's gone. He's
Okay.
over there and just dipped over to the other side. But he grew up the
Okay.
same way, and he would be singing them same songs. But once he started growing into who he really was gonna be, that all changed. So he ain't listen to no
Okay.
pop music now. He's talking about the music I listen to is whack and you don't know how to dress, you don't know style. And every time he like sometimes he wear my gym shoes. So I got like a mad sneaker collection and
Yeah.
I get my shoes back, they all loose. Talking about some you gotta tie it up too tight and you gotta have them loose. I'm like, dude, if you ever had to like get little or something like that, you can't run, your shoe coming off. You're
100%,
gonna be
bro.
up on foot, man, because they too loose. I don't say you walk around like that, man. But it is what it is. But I'm still overprotective. I'm trying. I'm putting the effort not to be overprotective because I'm like he's 16.
Hmm.
I'm trying not to treat him like a kid because I don't think that's going to be helpful. Um, Now when I walk into places, if it's some business that involves him, I'm saying, go ahead and tell him why you're here. The lady be looking at me and I'm like, talk to him. We here for him. I
That's
went to go
good.
pick him up for driver's ed yesterday, and I'm like, "Did you pay?" It was like 265. He said, "No," because I know he had like 280 in the bank. I'm like, why you ain't pay? You got money? I don't want to pay for just he just don't never want to spend his own money. But
For sure. They don't. Why would
but
they?
yeah,
I don't want to spend my
but
own
yeah.
money either.
So it's
Yeah.
like, look, dude, utilize your calendar. I utilize my calendar a lot. You got to be responsible. I'm not gonna be waking you up to get you to places. You got drivers ed all this week. You know what time. I got drivers ed. Okay, what time you got? I don't know. Well, figure it out. Let me know. Let me know when you figure it out. Because I don't have time to keep sitting here thinking for you. It's time to start taking that cape off
Yeah.
right now. You're 16, you're gonna be 17 this year. And before you know you'll be 18. I don't want you to only be
Hmm.
responsible for your wants. I want you to be responsible across the board. Set your alarms, wake yourself up, uh, brushing your teeth. I'm big on brushing your teeth and flossing and smelling
Yes,
good
I
and
do
stuff
know
like
you
that.
big
Yeah,
on brush your
yeah,
teeth.
yeah. So making sure you got
I made
yourself
sure I did
together.
it before I got on camera too.
Oh yeah, yeah, certainly, man. You got to, man. Don't want no puffy gums.
100%. Absolutely. So how do you deal with so he's 16? I didn't know if you finished your thought or not.
Oh yeah, I finished. Yeah,
So you're 16, then you have 14, and then you have four, right?
yeah.
So how do you deal with the 14-year-old since they're kind of close in age? Do you do the same things, or is there something different that you kind of
Uh,
do with them?
you mean like the 12-year-old and the
Oh,
4-year-old?
12. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Like they're different. My girl, my baby girl, she just ain't a baby girl. I call her young lady. I told her I ain't gonna call her
Hmm.
baby girl no more. But
That's good.
the young lady, she's in her own world. She's in that social media world, man. Like unfortunately, she's always in her phone. The phone is in her hand. She's trying to do the chores with the phone in her hand. She just keeps the phone in her hand no matter what she's doing. She's a little bit more irresponsible, so I'm trying to get her. Um, it's a I treat them differently, because you got the young one, and he's a boy, so he's a little bit rough. I think he's spoiled a little bit,
You
but he
think?
know. Yeah, I mean a little bit. I'm trying to break it out of it because sometimes we look at them kids throwing them tantrums. Sometimes he be trying to throw a little tantrum. And I got him and I'm giving him a little pinch, like, dude, you better cut it out. You're not gonna sit here and embarrass me like this. Like,
For real?
get up. Like, what are you doing? So he's in that
Yeah.
moment where he's trying to challenge you and he's acting away. And I try not to look at the people around me. I'm just looking like, you better get yourself together, man. I'm
I
not
know.
going through this. Come
For
outside and
real.
talk to you. Let me holler at you for a second, talk to you. Look,
Facts.
what's the problem? Because I can go to 0 to 10 sometimes. So I'm trying to exercise a little bit more patience. I don't have too many issues with the older ones besides them handling their responsibilities and not being so hung up in the phone and games and roadblocks and daddy, can you buy me some Roblox? I'm like, I don't even know what the Roblox is. It's like I'm
Yes, yes,
what's going on.
yes. That's crazy. Roblox is a thing over here too, boss. Like these uh I think everybody got some Roblox points for Christmas or their birthday.
Yeah,
And what's crazy is that they have other games that they can play with. But Roblox is the thing.
yeah, it is, man.
Roblox is a thing. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what's up.
yeah.
I have you. This is one of the things that I recently did. I did a video on it. My daughter plays softball,
Hmm.
and she had failed to make the team, and so I was glad that she failed the team
Hmm.
because of the effort that she had put forth. I didn't think that it would have made any sense for the coach to choose her, right? Because of also the effort that she displayed. So have you ever had a situation where you was like, okay, here's an opportunity where my kid is going to fail, and I'm okay with that, and then come behind that and teach a lesson?
Um, don't want to necessarily say that. I had a situation, and I hope you don't mind me just telling this one instead of saying something he's
No,
gonna
it's your
fail at. But like
no, you're fine.
my son thinks he's cold in basketball, but in reality he's not. Um, so
Did you tell him this?
no, I'm trying to
Oh, okay,
push him. I'm trying to get him to work,
okay,
but he's lazy and he just don't want to put the work effort in. So he's a shooter. He can shoot. But at some point in
okay.
time, as the kids get older, they just keep advancing and you still staying the same. So at some point in time, I just felt like, and I think somebody said it, like, I think you're trying to relive what you wanted for yourself and your son when it came to basketball. And I
Mm,
had to sit there like, you know what, you're right. And so now I have to be like, he went through a stage where he didn't want to. And I believe he still wants to, but I think that because he know he's not competitive like most of the other people his age now, they getting scouted and stuff like that. So he's not there, that he just kind of gave up. But I just had to figure out how to support him because I was one of those parents that was going to the extreme and yelling and stuff and couldn't figure out like, dude, like what are you doing? And was tough on him or something like that. And I'm not really sure if that was the correct method or not, but I had to realize at some point, man, it just might not be for you. And it's okay. We can find something else. I think we all had that dream of our child being this like championship, competitive, highly scouted uh, person. And in reality, they just may not have that skill set. It may be meant for them to do something else. So once I came to terms with that, because I was even coaching them, and that was the hardest thing too, is having your son.
oh
Because I was
man,
a coach, I was coaching the AAU travel team, and I was also help coaching, assistant coaching, like doing these tournaments that we had up in Illinois. So coaching your son and your son not being one of the best players, and it's like having to bench him or having to have him not start. That's
yeah,
one of the things that's just kind of heartbreaking because you want to put him in that position, but in all reality, man, it's like the people that surround you, they playing better. And if you want to get to the level, you're gonna put the work in. But I wouldn't consider it a fail. I just think that I recognize that it just wasn't for him, and I don't want to waste too much time trying to force him or trying to push him to do something that he really don't have it in his heart to do.
yeah. And how did he respond?
Um, I still seem like I felt as though as he wanted to really still like play, but because even for high school he tried out for the team and he didn't make it. Like, and I didn't tell him that he wasn't gonna make it, but it was
Mm,
just like this is a different beast, a different league. Like you don't really have to stand out. And I just would tell him if you haven't been putting the work in, so you just try your best. Let's just try your best. So he didn't make it. It's not really his thing now. He still think he can beat me. We do play,
oh
and
yeah,
oh yeah, 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 yeah.
can
We
you
always
hoop?
play.
You can
Yeah, I can.
hoop.
Yeah, I can hoop. Yeah,
That-
yeah. Yeah,
That's what's up. We
what
may
about
have
you?
to
Can
do
you
something
hoop?
with it. Yeah,
I mean, I heard you was dunking,
yes.
man. I mean, but you might, you might not
But
still
yeah,
got
every
it no
dunker
more, humble
can't
dad.
hoop, bro. Every dunker can't hoop.
Yeah, that's
Like
true. That's
I'm a
facts.
little out of shape right now, but I'm definitely a hooper. I've been hooping since I was 7. I
Okay.
can take you through my roster or whatever, my accolades if need be.
Okay. Oh
You know
man,
what
shots fired. Shots
I'm
fired.
saying? I don't have a soundboard or nothing like that. But yeah,
Yeah.
we'll definitely have to get that. That's do something. Okay.
Yeah. There you go.
I
Stay on
appreciate
point. Stay ready.
absolutely, man. That's the only thing. Yeah, I love basketball. You ask my kids when I'm finna turn on the TV, my
Mm,
3-year-old say, Daddy, you about to watch basketball? Like that's how much I enjoy basketball. But yeah, I can hoop though. My
that's what's up.
son though, Joshua, um, he thought he could hoop too, right? And I
Mm,
was like, dude, you can barely dribble, man. At 10 years old, I was on all-star teams. I don't there's no way that you're good. So what I had to do for him was show him videos of 10-year-olds, right?
mm,
Thankful for YouTube. I said, do you think you can do that? He's like, not yet, you know. But he's good at everything else. Don't get me wrong. Like if he
right.
put in the work, he's good at everything. He matter of fact, he is his baseball coach called him prime time
Mm,
because he's just an athlete, right? And so, but yeah, as far as sports is concerned, that's one of the things that I was telling my kids. Like, I'm not for you to have to play sports, but I think that it teaches some characteristics about yourself,
mm,
some life skills, if you will. And so that's the reason why we put them in sports, not to be pros, just so that they can have some ways to build their character as well as be able to be on teams and
yeah.
even play with people that you don't like. Like
Mm,
I've been on teams I ain't like the people on my team, and I had to work through that, and that prepared me for when I got into work situations,
mm.
So, so I was gonna ask you about like the state of, kind of like what you think is missing from fathers, maybe in general, um, nowadays, or do you see anything that is missing?
Um, I think something's missing is the benefit of being able to mold your legacy. Um,
Hmm.
being able to have hands on what goes on after you've gone. So if you have a part of you that's out there, being able to touch them enough so that they can keep on passing things down. I think that's what's missed. I don't think people are actually seeing and understanding the importance of it because at some point in time, I wasn't really thinking about the community, but as I keep getting older, I started thinking about how much of an importance it is for us to make the world a better place as much as we can. We may not be able to touch each and every person, but being more responsible for like our family, being able to still keep certain traditions, being able to not keep like repeating the same trauma and cycles, like hollering in the house. You know, like my grandfather would always say, "I want no hollering in my house." And even though I would do it, it's still sticking with me. And you asked me earlier, like, what's one of the things that has changed since then? And now it's like, I don't want no hollering in my house. And so I think it's important for us to set these foundations earlier and to be more involved because I think that's what's missing, man. We are not involved and hands on in every aspect of our kids' lives. So hopefully that
That's
answers your
good.
question.
No, that's good, man. You know, I didn't know what you were going to say, but when you said that, in all of these interviews that I've done, you're number 73, so I've done a lot. And talking to the dads and fathers, they've all said that main thing was that what helped them establish a really good relationship with their kids was the time that they was there with them,
Mm,
right? And when you're present with your kid in every aspect of life, you get to put your imprint on them, which is
mm,
your legacy, right? One of the things uh, that I had, man, I'll tell you this story. I don't try not to get emotional on this one, but I was asking my son. We was riding in the car, and I shared this on King's Talk. We don't listen to the radio. I have conversation with them about what's going on in their life and what they're thinking. And so I had asked this one question and I typically ask it just to see what they say. You know, and it was, how would you describe your dad? How would you describe me to some other kid? And he said he would say he's a guy that knows how to get through hard times. And I said, I said, what? I said, why would you say that? He said, because with mommy passing, I've seen you try to work with us and you try to work through the situation of losing your best friend. And I was like, oh wow. From my perspective, I'm feeling like I ain't doing good at all. You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to make it through. But for him to say that, I wouldn't have heard that if I'm not present with him. Right. And also that helps me reflect on what I'm trying to actually communicate further, which is my legacy, that this is something that they will see in their bride or their husband, that they would want to be with their best friend. Right. And so that was one of the things that helped me realize the importance of time with them on a regular basis.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I want to get into these questions, man. There's you're gonna give me a number between 1 and 45, and then I'm gonna just ask whatever. I don't know what the question. I do know what they are, but I don't know specifically what they are.
All right, 7.
But I've you got 7. Okay, here we. Man, everybody always goes to 7, bro. I'm telling you, at least 60%.
Well, the reason why I said
okay.
7 is because my old apartment in the projects was 705, so. I would always choose 7 all the time.
Okay, that's a bet. Okay, you know, Kevin Samuel said don't use 7, but hey, we got 7. Which is the very best Christmas present you have received or given to someone else?
That I've given or received. Let me see what I received. I think one of the things that I received was a surprise from my mother. Like, and it's the first time. This is the first and only time I was actually caught off guard. So you see those things on TV where they get a hotel room and stuff. So she had got a hotel room or whatever, and we made up to the hotel room. Like all my cousins, I had just talked to my cousin, and like nobody told me anything. So when I pulled up, everybody was there, and I was just like, wow, like that really caught me off guard. So that was a birthday present. That was one for the books, and something that was major and big for me. Because I was caught off guard. Like I'm telling you, all these people, I had just was left in the dark. I had literally just, I was grown. I was in my 20s. It wasn't like they could really fool me and nothing like that. I'm grown. Okay. I'm grown as ever right now. So I had to be like, maybe like 30s, in my early 30s or something.
Oh wow, okay, that's what's
maybe
up.
like late 20s or something. It threw me off.
This was okay. So it was a surprise party.
Yeah, it was. She was getting a hotel room for me for the weekend. Like this is my mother. This is my mother.
Oh,
we went to the hotel. She says a new hotel right across the street. At the time she had a little condo she was renting out downtown Chicago. Okay. So new hotel opened up right across the street. It's a nice hotel, and my mother can do some weird things. So okay, she getting a hotel room. That's fine. But when it's a nice, let me go and walk upstairs and look at it, and they surprised. I'm like, oh, okay.
That's dope. Okay, I appreciate that. Okay, give me another number between 1 and 45.
14.
What was the first album you ever bought?
It was that Snoop Doggy Dogg album.
Wow.
Doggy World with the dog house.
With the dog house. Yeah.
That was the first one I bought. Like, wow. I was just fascinated with the clever artwork on the front of it. So
I think everybody was at that time. I remember, like, even now, that was such an iconic screenshot or whatever, the graphics on it for sure. Okay.
Yeah, it was naughty, man. It was like one of those, like, look at this, like, yeah. So I remember I had that, and then I think I had my Talk Boy at the time.
What?
Yeah.
Okay. What was that? Man, that had to be like high school.
This was grammar school for me.
Okay. So Snoop came out in what? I
couldn't tell you. It had to be. It had to be like 96, 7, something like that.
Yeah.
8 had to be somewhere around there. Yeah.
And and he was with Dr. Dre.
I'm
Was that
pretty
Dr.
sure because I think I don't know when Friday came out. Friday might have came out later than that because this was like one of the. I mean, this was early. That was early, man.
Yeah, I'm
Because
sure
I don't
Rilla would
remember
know.
no. Yeah, really no. He get the snapping the finger.
Yeah,
He
for sure.
look up in the air like
Hey, you need to do it. That would be funny if you did a monologue of everybody on the
oh yeah,
set with their
yeah,
mannerism. That'd be funny.
yeah.
Funny. All right,
Like
give me last number.
you see Trail hat turned to the front. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, earlier on in the pod, yeah.
Facts, bro. Facts. That's hilarious. I don't even know what you got mine too yet.
Huh?
You got mine yet?
Hold on. It's gonna come to me. It's a word you always use. I don't know if it's absolutely like you say something like when somebody telling you doing, yeah, absolutely. I wasn't doing that, but yeah, yep.
I think it's 100. I probably use the
It's
word
something.
100
It's
a
something.
lot.
I'm gonna pay attention to the next King talk, and then I'm gonna come back for you. I probably might do it on the show, so make sure y'all tune
That's
into
a
that too, so we can
that's a that's
crack
a
up on
bet.
this one.
Okay, give me one last number. What you got?
33.
What was your? Well, you already told me that, but it's let's see. Maybe she did something different. What is your favorite thing about your mother? What's your favorite thing about your mother?
Her heart. Her heart. She has
Mm,
a real big heart, and I think that that's something that I carry with me. I'm a little bit protective on my. I think the most that people ever got from me might have been time, like that I felt like might have been taken advantage of at some point in time is time because I'm always giving. I'm always going over and beyond for people, and so I have to kind of like sit back, like man, I'm giving too much energy. So sometimes I go back and forth, and I had a time where I was a little bit more reserved on my time, but now presently it's like it is what it is, just who I am. So I'm gonna keep continue going, not getting taken advantage of, but just
right.
always giving and being able to be that person that like that's a difference maker. So even though you may not have somebody that's like that in your corner, now you got me, now you got that support, now you have me like remembering how you didn't have some or man, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Hopefully, I have enough help. Fast forward, hey, what's going on? I know. Remember you said you needed some help. You still need some help. I'm willing to lend a hand for you if you need some help. So I'm one of those people. But to answer your question, my mother has a real big heart. She always wants to don't throw that food away. Let's give it to the people downstairs because I stayed in the project,
Mhm.
so there was a lot of homeless people that was around, and she would always want to give like the leftovers to certain people that she would see like laying in the stairwells and so forth. So
That's what's up, man. And I can attest to the heart that you have. Just rocking with you just for a short amount of time. Even with you coming on this podcast has been phenomenal. And one of the goals that I had told you at the beginning of our session, not knowing if it was going to be a reality or not, but that was my goal. And then the information that you poured in to me just about how to make things better on this podcast has been that incredible for me. So I definitely uh echo that statement about the heart for sure. And it's
appreciate
come
it.
and it's come for sure. And it's come full, I don't know, full circle, but because of your heart, people have even given back to you. Right. That's
Yeah.
one of those things about being a value add to people that when you're a value add to individuals, you'll never want for anything because they'll want to reciprocate it.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely the truth of it, man. I'm having more and more conversations about how good it feels to give, man. And it's like I don't look forward to get it back. I'm seeing it's
Right.
coming back only so that I can be a witness to what's going on and be able to say, man, give, man. Don't worry about what you're receiving. Just keep being you, keep giving. Like don't be negative, man. Keep inspiring. You really never know what you're doing to folks, man. And when I had these conversations, man, people they just rock with me, man. And it's not because um, I'm looking for an exchange. I'm just rocking with you just because it's you. I try not to judge people. That's one of the things I don't do. Like, who am I to judge? Who am I? Like, what makes me so much better than anybody else. You know, we all humans on this earth trying to figure it out, trying to make the right decisions, man. And let's just keep spreading this positivity.
That's what's up. So I got two last questions, and the second to last question is: which TV dad would you say you have similar characteristics with, past or present?
Mm. I don't watch too much TV, man. It's
It's
kind of a hard
okay.
thing. Like when I think about father, I just keep thinking about my grandfather, man. I mean, I can't
Okay.
really think of a show that really illustrates me because then I add my own little sauce to it. You know,
Bet.
he has his ways, and it's like, okay, I just took what he had, and then I wanted to be better. So
Mm.
I think that I think it turned out pretty good, man. I think I'm an excellent father, man, and I'm always a student to life. I always say that, so I can always be a better father.
Mm. We can always be a better father. That's what's up.
Yes.
And so, with the last question is, how would you like for your how would you like for your kids to remember you? What would you want them to say about you?
Um, I often tell my son this, man. Like, so even though I'm hard on him, I'll be like I love you, but I don't think people know how powerful or how involved the father is until he's not there. Like some of your friends can't even
Mm.
say the same thing. Um, if I didn't, I'm only saying this because I care. That's what it is. I'm only saying this because I care. If I didn't care, I wouldn't be saying nothing. You have to understand that I care for you. I'm not going to just allow you to be like released into these situations in these worlds and not prepare you. Like, I'm gonna
Mm.
do my job. Like you have to know how much I love you, and you may not realize it right now, but I believe that. And I always say I'm not gonna be here forever. My grandfather always told me I'm not gonna be here forever. I don't want to hear that. My son said the same thing. You probably mentioned that. Like I'm not gonna be here forever. You got to get this game while I'm here. I'm trying to prepare you because in the event of anything happening to me, you need to know that I've been instilling these things in your head. I've been drilling it in your head. Like you have to know how to move. You have to know how to navigate. You have to know how to think independently. You have to know not to depend on anybody. You can't keep walking around blaming folks. You got to understand how to just like man up in situations and just understand not to panic. So I just want them to know how much value that I wanted to pour in them, and hopefully it resonated with them.
That's what's up, man. This has been phenomenal, and I really appreciate your time, Jr. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
thank
And
you. I appreciate it.
absolutely, people have been saying that this is a good conversation as well. And it was a nugget. I'm gonna have to run it back and find what you said. That is so golden. A person may not know how good a father is until they're not there,
Yeah,
right? Or what you have learned. You said something like that to that
yeah.
degree, and that is definitely going to have to be a motto for dads to come and fathers to come. So for all those that are out there, make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe to the channel, and then you got the last say, Mr. Jr. What would you like to say to the people?
I just want to say, like, I know how difficult it is in the task, how hard it is to be a father, a parent. It's not an easy task, and at some point in time, we got to understand that we're not living for ourselves, that we are living for them. It's going to be more about them, and whatever's left, we're going to get on the back end. Those are one of the things that you have to understand that when you bring being beings into this world, other humans into this world, little yous into this world, that we have to continue to pour into them because if we don't pour into them, if we don't protect them, if we don't mold them, then the world is going to mold them. So we have to be able to get to them first before their minds and their souls and their urges get distracted. We have to be that solid foundation. It's not gonna curve every little thing, but if we can get a little bit of them, just a little bit of them, they may learn and then they may like reflect back on what they've seen or what they've been around, and then it just may all make sense. We always got to look at ourselves because we've made mistakes, so our kids are going to make mistakes. They're not going to be perfect, but we just want to just try to give them the opportunity to be as perfect as possible.
That's what's up. And so, what you got coming up next, man? What are the? You got like 7 different shows, you know. So, what can people kind of find you?
Yeah, if you guys just want to type in Lapeef on any platform, that's LAPEEF, put Lapeef JR, Instagram, Lapeef JR, Twitter, Lapeef Network, anything with Lapeef that come up, man, just follow and subscribe. Put it Lapeef Network on YouTube. Just put it in there, it's gonna pop up. Just follow it, and then also, just continue to share. Not only my platform, but Humble Dad's platform as well. This is an excellent platform. He's on King Talk. I appreciate his perspectives and the value that he brings to that platform. So just make sure that not only me, man, but we just pushing all the positive content that's being created out there. We just liking and sharing and just supporting each other.
That's what's up. Well, it's another edition of Humble Dad coming to a wrap. And until next time, man, we out here.
All right.
Deuces.
Appreciate y'all.